Yes, you lot, welcome back to the Louis Talks Footy channel. Today I'm back with another video and I'm going to be analysing the Manchester City versus Newcastle game and looking at all the key moments and having a look at what this means for the title race. Before I get into it, please like, comment, share and subscribe. It massively helps me out, it helps out the channel, boost the video out to more people, so please do that now. Right, let's get into it. Right, so obviously Manchester City took on Newcastle at home. We beat them 2-1. It's obviously massive for City in the title race. Every game is a final at this point. We're getting towards the back end of the season. The business end where City usually start pulling results together, usually get the momentum and start getting consecutive wins. And we're starting to see that coming together a little bit now for City. And I'm not overly convinced just yet. I said we're not going to win the league after we drew to Brighton because I just think City have been too inconsistent this year. But obviously we've started to see Arsenal wobble a little bit with draws against Brentford and Wolves. But if City can start to get momentum and can start to get consecutive wins together, I think I'll start to believe a little bit more again. But yeah, right now I'm still going to hold my horses a little bit and not get too excited because at the end of the day, Arsenal are still about 5 points in front of us. Obviously, City have a game in hand, so hopefully we can go and win that, go and win at the Etihad, and go and win the league eventually. But anyway, let's crack on with analysing Manchester City versus Newcastle. So the first player I want to talk about from this game is Nico O'Reilly. I love this kid to bits. I can't believe how seamless the transition has been from left back to midfield. And people say, oh, but he's a natural midfielder. That's all good and well to say, but playing left back, you can hide a little bit more. You're offered a little bit more protection. I think it's probably a slightly easier position to play. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but in the midfield, I think you're a lot more exposed. You've got a lot more to do. And Nico O'Reilly has stepped up to the plate time and again now when he's played in midfield. Obviously, when he came in at left back, he stepped up time and again, but I just find it mad the transition between left back and midfield for Nico O'Reilly, and he's so mature. I think he plays beyond his years, and this game just epitomizes that. And I think he's really becoming a proper staple in this squad. Obviously, we've seen over the last 2 seasons that he started to come in, and this season he's really kept his place every single game. We're just really seeing now him becoming a mainstay in the squad, and one of the best players in the team. And this game was just pure evidence of that. I also just want to talk about his football and IQ, because this guy just seems to be one step ahead of everybody else on the pitch. He never seems to make mistakes. He doesn't seem to lose the ball very often at all. He just always seems to know what's going on around him. But anyway, let's have a look at the first goal that Nico O'Reilly scores. So Nico O'Reilly nods it on to Omar Marmoush. Marmoush picks it up from deep. It's a driving run at the defence, and he lays it off to Nico O'Reilly, and he just smashes it in. But what I think's really interesting about this goal that shows Nico O'Reilly's maturity in his football and IQ is the way that he lets the ball come across him. He doesn't get too excited and stab at it quickly. He doesn't take too many touches and let the ball get away from him or let himself get tackled. He lets the ball come across him. It's perfectly timed. He doesn't let the pressure of the moment get to him. He's calm, he's composed, and he just smashes it in. So if we just watch here, Omar Marmoush lays it off to him. He waits all that time and smashes it to the keeper's right-hand side at his near post. Nick Pope also got a touch to that and couldn't even tip it onto the bar or tip it wide. It was so much power on that the keeper couldn't even keep it out. I just think it's crazy the way he goes about his business, because a lot more experienced players would get too excited, would stab at that, would take too many touches and end up getting the ball robbed of him. We see it from Marmoush quite a bit at times. We've seen it from Haaland at times as well. Obviously, Haaland's a different kettle of fish, but you know what I mean? I just think it's crazy the way he's so composed and so patient. Nico O'Reilly, mate, he's a special player. In the 21st minute, we see City concede. Obviously, it was a corner. I think it gets deflected, comes back out of the area to Lewis Hall. He just smashes it and hopes and prays. Bounces off a few players and ends up going in, and there's not much you can do about that one. There's no one you can really blame for that. It's one of them where it just kind of bobbles about. There's not much you can do about it. So yeah, listen, it's one of them. But what I'm so impressed with, right, is the way City get up and react to this goal and grab one back straight away to settle the nerves of the fans in the stadium. I think a lot of times this season we've conceded one, our heads have dropped a little bit, we've had a bit of a soft underbelly, and then in the second half we've gone and got trounced. But listen, City reacted so well to that goal from Lewis Hall, and straight away we go back at them and grab another goal. And I think it's so important to see that from these players in the context of the title race, because this is what you have to do to win. You have to react. You can't let your head drop, and City don't do that in this game, and that's what I love about this team at the moment. It seems that we've got a bit of fight about us. We've got a little bit of heart about us. We saw it at Anfield. We saw it at Fulham. We didn't let them get back into it. I feel like City are doing quite well at the moment. So listen, we'll play the little clip and watch how this goal unfolds. So Semenyo picks up between the halfway line and the box. He finds the space where Erling Haaland can run into. It's a lovely little through ball pass right into this space. Enough space for Haaland to run onto it. He's now beyond the defenders, and it's a perfectly weighted pass for Haaland to get around it. He looks up, sees the space in the box, and this is where Erling Haaland has developed his game so much. He's now on the right wing, right? And he puts this beautiful little chip in, perfectly weighted, and it lands perfectly for Nico O'Reilly to get up in the air, heads the ball across the keeper, he finds the space, and it ends up being a goal. This is a beautifully worked goal, man. Absolutely beautiful. And this is the kind of football that I want to see us playing. It's the kind of football that I want to see from Erling Haaland as well. We've not seen this from him. Obviously, he had that little goal drought, but even in that goal drought, he wasn't doing stuff off the ball like this. You know, Erling Haaland doesn't get any goals today, but he certainly makes himself known. He certainly has his impact on the game. And this was just beautiful. Even from Semenyo, he picks it up from deep. Like I say, plays the ball into the space for Haaland. Haaland has a little look up, and it's De Bruyne-esque, lands on Nico O'Reilly's head, and O'Reilly plays it across the keeper. It's beautiful play. And it's beautiful nous and awareness from Nico O'Reilly to know where to place the header. It's intentional the way he's done it. He's done it totally on purpose. Make sure the keeper can't get there, and he doesn't. But let's just have another little replay of this goal, man. It's so good. So Nico O'Reilly does so well. So does Antoine Semenyo, but I want to just focus on Haaland for a second, because that pass is De Bruyne-esque. And that goal, that header, is Haaland-esque. This is what the top teams do. They take attributes from each other, and they all learn, they all develop their skill set, and they're all quite good at all aspects of the game. And here we can see that from Erling Haaland. You know, when he came into Manchester City, he probably was way more of just a striker. You know, he didn't have much else to his game, and we can just see that he's developing all the time. He's now got to pass a little dink of a cross that you could be mistaken for a Kevin De Bruyne pass if he's in a Man City shirt. And Nico O'Reilly nods it in like he's a striker. I mean, it's just class. I love to see this football played from Manchester City. Here we've got another little bit of magic from Erling Haaland. It's the 45th minute. He gets the ball from deep again. He's got a few players around him, beats him, and gets his shot off. Now, obviously, the goal doesn't go in, but it's just another example of how Haaland has progressed since he's come to Manchester City over the last few years. You know, he's picking the ball up from deep, beats a few men, and gets his shot off. It's really good to see. Last thing I want to touch on is Gianluigi Donnarumma saving our arse again. It's a long ball over the top. It's a header, falls to Barnes, and Barnes hits one, and it's fingertip save to keep it out the back of the net from Gianluigi Donnarumma. And it's beautiful from Donnarumma, and he seems to be doing this every single game, pulling out highlight reel worthy saves every single game. And this is why it's so important to have a world-class shot stopper in your team like Donnarumma there. He just saves us 2 points again. So that was it from Manchester City. We handed it over to Arsenal, who took on Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they just trounced Tottenham, bro. I just want to go in on Tottenham Hotspur a second, because these lot are so bad. And I know Tottenham have just sacked Thomas Frank, and they've got this new manager in. It's the first game. I can somewhat sympathise with that, but they're so poor, bro. And with the players they've got on the pitch, they should no way be performing like that. They're just purely on the quality they have. They should be able to do better than what they did. Even the fact they got one goal really flattered them. It really flattered them. And I don't think Arsenal were that good. You know, I'm hearing Arsenal fans coming out cheering and raving about it, bro. It's like they beat a championship side. So I don't want to hear all this like buzzing or Eze's back, Gyökeres, Glockeres. I don't want to hear any of that, because Arsenal weren't that good. Like, yes, you were good in the second half. First half, though, you're giving it away left, right, and centre. And then Declan Rice starts doing his Steven Gerrard, saying, "Oh, mentality, let's get the win. Let's everyone dial in now." And then he starts trying to take people on just outside the area, gets the ball robbed off him, and one, he smashes one in. Arsenal weren't that good. I really don't think they were great, and that just goes to show, because Gyökeres looked very good. You know, he was taking people on and beating them. I mean, that's how good Gyökeres was looking, because he was coming up against this Spurs defence, who were coming up one at a time. That they were pressing one at a time, this Spurs defence, leaving gaps behind themselves. You know, that Dragonson, I don't know what he was playing a very risky game, even coming up and trying to get the ball. It was like, at times, Gyökeres or one of the Arsenal attackers had the ball, and they had their back to goal, and Dragonson was kind of coming around them onto the other side and giving the Arsenal player goal side. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just all so weird, so disjointed, and it genuinely looked like I was watching kids play football. You know, when kids all kind of swarm to the ball, or they get the ball and then they just don't really look for a pass, they just run until they get tackled. That's what Spurs look like. They got individuals getting the ball, picking it up, and then just driving until they got tackled. Oh, it was so bad, bro. Honestly, it's shocking. I had a tenner on Spurs to win as well. Honestly, I was just dreaming. I was in dreamland. Honestly, that's just pure blind football hope. because Spurs was so bad, and I think everyone kind of knew Spurs were going to get beat, let's be honest. But listen, we got our 3 points, Arsenal got their 3 points, we still have a game in hand to play, and the return fixture of the Etihad. It's back in our hands. As long as we do the business, we can win this Premier League title. Get your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think is going to win the Premier League? What did you make of the performances from Arsenal and Manchester City and Spurs at the weekend? And I'll see you lot in a bit.